The Zarkonian ship Starseeker floated silently in the dark space above an unknown planet. Captain Tak stood on the bridge, his 4 eyes fixed on the main screen. The planet below was a swirl of blue and green, much like Earth. But this was not Earth. It was a planet far, far away from the human homeworld. "Captain, we're picking up a strange signal," said Mina, the communications officer. Her antenna twitched as she listened to the beeps and clicks coming through her headset. Tak turned to her, his scaly skin shimmering under the soft bridge lights. "What kind of signal, Mina?" "I'm not sure, sir. It's not like anything I've heard before," Mina replied, her fingers dancing over her console. Yuma, the ship's lead scientist, spoke up from her station. "Captain, I'm detecting an artificial structure on the planet's surface. It's big, really big." Tak's heart beat faster. This was exciting. They had found signs of intelligent life. "Can we get a visual?" he asked. The main screen flickered, and an image appeared. At first it was just a blur of green, the planet's thick forests. But as the image zoomed in, they all gasped. There, nestled in a clearing, was a massive ship. It was sleek, silver, and clearly not of Zarkonian design. "What is that?" June, the engineer, whispered in awe. Tak leaned forward, his eyes wide. "I don't know, but we're going to find out. Prepare a landing party." An hour later, Tak led a team of 5 down to the planet's surface. They wore protective suits, unsure of what they might find. As they approached the ship, its size became even more apparent. It towered above them, at least 10 times the size of their own ship. It's incredible," Yuna said, her voice filled with wonder. She held up a scanner, taking readings of the ship's hull. "The metal. I've never seen anything like it. It's stronger than anything we have." June ran his hand over the smooth surface. "Look at this craftsmanship. Whoever built this was far more advanced than us." Tak nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and unease. "Let's find a way in. Be careful, everyone. We don't know what we might find inside." They circled the ship, looking for an entrance. Finally, Mina called out, "Over here. I think I found a door." The team gathered around what looked like a sealed hatch. Strange symbols were etched into the metal beside it. "Can anyone read this?" Tak asked. Yuna stepped closer, her eyes narrowing as she studied the symbols. Suddenly, she gasped. "Captain, these are human numbers." A shocked silence fell over the group. Human numbers. But that was impossible. Humans were a primitive species, barely able to reach their own moon. They couldn't have built this. "Are you sure?" Tak asked, his voice low. Yuma nodded. "Positive. We studied their number system in our xenology classes. This is a date. If I'm reading it right, this ship has been here for over 500 Earth years." The implications were staggering. If humans had built this ship over 500 years ago, it meant they were far more advanced than anyone had ever imagined. "Can we open it?" June asked, already examining the hatch mechanism. Tak hesitated. If this was truly a human ship, entering it could have serious consequences. But the potential knowledge inside was too valuable to ignore. "Do it," he said finally. June worked on the hatch for several minutes before it finally hissed open. Stale air rushed out, and the team switched on their suit lights as they peered into the darkness beyond. "Stay close," Tak ordered, as they stepped inside. The interior of the ship was a marvel. Despite its age, everything looked pristine, as if the crew had just stepped out moments ago. Sleek corridors led off in different directions, and strange machines hummed quietly in the background. "This technology, it's centuries ahead of ours," Jum said, his voice filled with awe and a hint of fear. As they moved deeper into the ship, they came across a large room filled with holographic displays. Yuna approached one and gasped as it flickered to life at her touch. "Captain, look at this," she called out. The others gathered around. On the screen was a map of the galaxy, with thousands of points of light scattered across it. Each point was labeled in the human language. "Are these human colonies?" Minna asked, her voice barely a whisper. Tak felt a chill run down his spine. If this map was accurate, it meant humans had spread far beyond their home system. But where were they now? Why had they abandoned this ship? As the reality of their discovery sank in, Tak knew that everything was about to change. The galaxy as they knew it would never be the same. "We need to report this," he said finally. "But first, we need to learn everything we can. The humans are out there somewhere, and they're far more powerful than we ever imagined. We need to be ready when we meet them." With that, the team spread out, each lost in their own thoughts, as they began to unravel the mystery of the abandoned human starship. The discovery that would shake the foundations of the galaxy had only just begun. Captain Tak and his team spent hours exploring the massive human starship. Every new discovery left them more amazed and confused. How could humans, a species they thought was primitive, create something so advanced? "Captain, come quick." Yuna's excited voice echoed through the ship's comm system. "I think I've found the bridge." Tak hurried to join Yuna, with June and Minna close behind. They entered a large, circular room filled with strange devices and screens. In the center was a raised platform with a single chair. "This must be the captain's chair," Tak said, running his hand over the smooth material. Suddenly, the chair lit up, and a soft humming filled the room. "What did you do?" Minna asked, her antenna twitching nervously. Before Tak could answer, a holographic screen appeared in front of the chair. Strange symbols flashed across it, moving too fast for any of them to read. June stepped forward, his eyes wide with excitement. "It's the ship's log. If we can decode it, we might learn why the humans abandoned this ship." For the next few hours, the team worked tirelessly to understand the human language. Yuna's knowledge of sinolinguistics proved invaluable. Slowly, they began to make sense of the logs. "Listen to this," Yuna said, her voice filled with awe. "According to these logs, this ship is over 1,000 years old. It was part of something called the Human Expansion Initiative." Tak felt a chill run down his spine. 1,000 years? But that would mean humans were traveling between stars when our people were still figuring out how to leave our own planet. Minna finished, her voice barely a whisper. As they delved deeper into the logs, a picture began to form. Humans had spread across the galaxy, building a vast civilization. But something had gone wrong. The later entries spoke of a great danger, a threat that forced the humans to retreat. "The last entry is from the ship's captain," Yuna said, her voice shaking slightly. "It says, 'We've been ordered to abandon ship and activate the stealth protocols. May this vessel stand as a silent guardian until humanity is ready to return to the stars.'" A heavy silence fell over the group. The implications were staggering. Humans weren't primitive at all. They were an advanced species in hiding. June, who had been quiet for a while, suddenly spoke up. "Captain, I think I've figured out how to access the ship's main computer. Should I try to activate it?" Tak hesitated. Activating the computer could trigger unknown systems, but the potential knowledge they could gain was too valuable to ignore. "Do it," he said finally. June nodded and began working on a nearby console. The others watched nervously as lights flickered and strange sounds echoed through the ship. Suddenly, a deep, melodious voice filled the room. "Greetings. I am ARIA, Artificial Responsive Intelligence Assistant. How may I assist you?" The team looked at each other in shock. An AI this advanced was beyond anything they had ever encountered. "ARIA," Tak said cautiously, "can you tell us about the humans who built this ship?" There was a pause before ARIA responded. "I'm sorry, but that information is classified. Security protocols prevent me from sharing details about my creators without proper authorization." Tak's heart sank, but he wasn't ready to give up. "ARIA, we're not here to harm anyone. We just want to understand. Can you tell us anything about why this ship was abandoned? Another pause. I can confirm that this vessel was part of a strategic withdrawal. The exact reasons are classified, but I can say that it was done to protect humanity and other sentient species. The team exchanged worried glances. Protect them from what? As they continued to question AIA, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed, and the AI's voice took on a more urgent tone. Warning. Unknown energy signature detected. Activating defense protocols. The team rushed to the windows and gasped. In the sky above, a massive ship had appeared, unlike anything they had ever seen. It was sleek, black, and radiated an aura of menace. Araya, what is that? Tak asked, his voice filled with fear. Threat detected. Species designation. Unknown. Threat level. Maximum. Initiating emergency broadcast. Before anyone could react, a powerful beam of energy shot from the human ship into space. The strange vessel above them seemed to recoil, then vanished in a flash of light. As the alarms faded, Tak turned to his team. Their mission had just become far more complicated than they could have ever imagined. They had not only discovered that humans were an advanced species in hiding, but they might have just alerted both humans and their mysterious enemies to their presence. We need to report this immediately, Tak said, his voice firm despite his fear. The galaxy needs to know what we found here. Everything is about to change. As they prepared to leave the ship, each of them knew that their discovery would shake the foundations of their civilization. The humans were out there, waiting. And now, thanks to them, they might be coming back. Captain Tak and his team raced back to their ship, the Starseeker. Their hearts pounded with a mix of excitement and fear. They had just witnessed something incredible and possibly dangerous. As soon as they were aboard, Tak called an emergency meeting in the ship's conference room. The air was thick with tension as the team gathered around the table. All right, everyone, Tak began, his voice steady despite his nerves. We need to decide what to do with this information. The humans are clearly not the primitive species we thought they were. Yuna, the scientist, spoke up first. Captain, the technology on that ship is beyond anything we've ever seen. If we share this information, it could change everything. Minna, the communications officer, nodded in agreement. But we can't keep this a secret. Our people have a right to know. June, the engineer, had been quiet since they left the human ship. Now he looked up with worry in his eyes. What about that other ship we saw? The one ARIA called a threat. What if by activating the human ship, we've put ourselves in danger? A heavy silence fell over the room. They all remembered the menacing black ship that had appeared and then vanished so quickly. Tak took a deep breath. You're all right. This is bigger than us. We need to report our findings, but we also need to be careful. Mina, I want you to prepare a detailed report of everything we've learned. Yuma, work with her to include all the scientific data we gathered. June, I need you to analyze everything you saw about the human ship's technology. As the team got to work, Tak retreated to his private quarters. He needed to think. The weight of their discovery pressed down on him. Humans, a species they had dismissed as barely spacefaring, had a level of technology that made the Zarkonians look primitive in comparison. Hours passed as the team worked tirelessly to compile their report. Finally, Minna's voice came over the intercom. Captain, we're ready. Tak returned to the conference room. The team looked exhausted but determined. Minna stood up, holding a datapad. Captain, as we pieced together the information from the human ship's database, we made some startling discoveries, she began. It seems that humans have been spacefaring for over 10,000 years. Gasps filled the room. Tak felt his heart skip a beat. 10,000 years. But that's impossible. We've only been in space for 2,000 years ourselves. Yuma nodded, her eyes wide with excitement. It's true, Captain. And that's not all. The database suggests that humans have colonized thousands of worlds across multiple galaxies. June chimed in, his voice filled with awe. Their technology is incredible. They have faster-than-light travel that makes our best ships look like they're standing still. And their energy production. It's like they can harness the power of stars themselves. Tak's mind reeled with the implications. But if they're so advanced, why haven't we encountered them before? Why do they hide? Mina's expression turned grave. That's where things get worrying, Captain. The records speak of a great war, a conflict on a scale we can barely imagine. The humans fought against something they called the Void. We don't know exactly what it is, but it seems to be the threat that ARIA warned us about. The room fell silent as they all processed this information. Tak felt a chill run down his spine. So the humans retreated, hid themselves away, to protect themselves and others from this threat. Yuna nodded. It appears so. But Captain, there's more. The last entries in the database suggest that the humans were preparing for something. They called it the Return. Tak's eyes widened. The Return. You mean? Yes. Mina confirmed. We think the humans are planning to come back. And based on the data we've seen, it could happen any day now. The implications were staggering. A highly advanced human civilization, returning to the galaxy after millennia of hiding. And with them, the possibility of a terrible threat that had forced them into hiding in the first place. Tak stood up, his decision made. We need to alert the High Council immediately. This changes everything. Our people need to be prepared for what's coming. As the team rushed to send their report, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. June's console lit up with urgent messages. Captain, he shouted, we're detecting multiple energy signatures. Massive ships are appearing all around us. Tak ran to the view screen, his heart's pounding. What he saw took his breath away. Dozens of sleek, advanced ships had appeared out of nowhere, surrounding their small vessel. A message flashed across their communications screen. Attention Zarkonian vessel. This is Admiral Lee of the Human Restoration Fleet. We've received your distress signal. Prepare for first contact procedures. Tak and his crew stood in stunned silence. The humans had returned, and they were about to face a civilization far beyond their wildest imaginations. The galaxy would never be the same again. The news of Captain Tak's discovery spread like wildfire across the Zarkonian Empire. Within days, every corner of their territory was buzzing with excitement and fear. The High Council called an emergency meeting, and Tak found himself standing before the most powerful leaders of his people. Captain Tak, the head counselor said, her voice echoing in the grand chamber. Your report has shaken our civilization to its core. We must know more about these humans and their technology. Tak nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Yes, counselor. What would you have us do? The council members exchanged glances before the head counselor spoke again. We are tasking you and your crew with a new mission. You must find more human artifacts, more evidence of their civilization. We need to understand what we're dealing with. As Tak and his team prepared for their new mission, word of the human starship leaked to other alien races. Soon, the galaxy was abuzz with activity as various species began their own searches for signs of human presence. Back on the Starseeker, Tak gathered his crew for a briefing. The situation has changed, he said, looking at each of them in turn. We're no longer alone in this hunt. We need to be faster and smarter than the others. Yuna, the scientist, raised her hand. Captain, I've been analyzing the star charts we found on the human ship. I think I've identified several systems that might have been important to them. June, the engineer, chimed in. And I've modified our sensors based on what we learned. We should be able to detect technology similar to what we found on the human ship. Tak nodded, feeling a surge of pride in his crew. Excellent work, both of you. Mina, set a course for the nearest system on Yuna's list. Let's see what we can find. As the Starseeker journeyed through space, tensions in the galaxy continued to rise. Different factions among the alien races argued over how to approach the potential return of humanity. Some, like the peace-loving Kuril, advocated for open arms and friendship. The humans clearly possessed great wisdom and power, their ambassador declared in a galactic conference. We should welcome them as teachers and allies. Others, like the warlike Drekthar, saw the humans as a threat. Any species with such advanced technology is a danger to us all, their war chief growled. We must prepare for battle. Amidst this growing chaos, the Starseeker arrived at its first destination. It was a small, unassuming planet orbiting a red dwarf star. At first glance, it seemed unremarkable. But as they entered orbit, June's modified sensors began to beep urgently. Captain, I'm detecting energy readings from the surface. They matched the signature of the human ship we found. Excitement rippled through the crew as TAC ordered a landing party to be prepared. This time, they were better equipped, carrying scanners specially calibrated to detect human technology. As they descended to the planet's surface, they found themselves in a dense jungle. Massive trees towered above them, their leaves shimmering with an odd metallic sheen. These aren't natural, Yuna said, scanning the strange flora. They're some kind of bioengineered life form. The humans must have created them. They pushed deeper into the jungle, following the energy readings. Suddenly, they emerged into a clearing and stopped in their tracks. Before them stood a massive structure, its sleek lines and shimmering surface unmistakably of human origin. It's some kind of outpost, June whispered in awe. But it looks like it's been abandoned for centuries. As they approached the structure, a holographic interface suddenly flickered to life. A human face appeared, startling the Zarkonians. Welcome to Outpost Gamma, the hologram said in a calm voice. Please state the nature of your visit. Tak stepped forward, his heart racing. We are explorers from the Zarkonian Empire. We seek knowledge about the human civilization. The holograms seemed to consider this for a moment. I'm sorry, but access to classified information is restricted. However, I can provide you with some historical data about this outpost. As the hologram began to share its information, Tak realized they had stumbled upon something far more significant than they had imagined. This wasn't just an abandoned outpost. It was a piece of a vast network, a remnant of the human civilization that had once spanned the galaxy. But even as they learned, Tak couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Somewhere out there, the real humans were waiting, observing, and sooner or later they would make their presence known. As the team collected what data they could, a distant rumble caught their attention. Looking up, they saw several ships entering the atmosphere. Some they recognized as belonging to other alien races. The hunt for human artifacts had truly begun, and the Zarkonians were at the center of it all. Tak knew that their discovery was just the beginning. The race to uncover the secrets of humanity would reshape the galaxy. And as he looked at the determination on his crew's faces, he knew they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. Captain Tak and his crew raced back to their ship as alien vessels descended from the sky. They had to protect their discovery and the valuable information they had gathered from the human outpost. Once safely aboard the Starseeker, Tak called an emergency meeting. The crew gathered in the command center, their faces a mix of excitement and worry. What did we learn? Tak asked, looking at Yuna expectantly. Yuna stepped forward, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. Captain, the data we gathered is amazing. It seems the humans faced a massive conflict that forced them to abandon their expansion. A conflict? Minna asked, her antenna twitching nervously. With whom? Yuna's expression turned grave. The records aren't clear, but they mention something called the Void. It seems to be some kind of force or entity that threatened not just humanity, but all life in the galaxy. A heavy silence fell over the room. The idea of a threat so great that it could push an advanced civilization like humanity into hiding was terrifying. June spoke up, his voice quiet but firm. There's more, Captain. I managed to partially activate the outpost's AI system. It hinted at something called the Preservation Protocol. "What's that?" Tak asked, leaning forward with interest. "I'm not entirely sure," June admitted. "But from what I could gather, it seems the humans didn't just retreat. They're waiting." "Waiting for what?" Minna asked. June shook his head. "The right moment, I think. To come back. To face the void again." The implications of this were staggering. Tak felt a chill run down his spine as he considered what this might mean for the galaxy. "So the humans might still be out there," he said slowly. "Hiding, preparing, waiting for the right moment to return." Yuna nodded eagerly. "It makes sense, Captain. Think about it. The advanced technology we've seen, the hidden outposts, the mysterious ships that appear and disappear. The humans aren't gone. They're just hidden." As the crew discussed this new theory, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Minna rushed to her console, her fingers flying over the controls. "Captain," she called out, "we're receiving a transmission. It's from the human outpost." Tak's heart raced as he ordered, "Put it on screen." The main view screen flickered to life, showing the face of a human. The alien crew stared in awe at the being they had only seen in historical records. "Greetings, Zarkonian vessel," the human said, its voice calm and clear. "I am an AI construct left to guard this outpost. I have determined that you pose no immediate threat and have decided to share some information with you." Tak stepped forward. "We're honored. What can you tell us?" The AI's expression remained neutral as it spoke. "The galaxy stands on the brink of a new era. Humanity's return is imminent, but so is the return of the void. Your discovery of this outpost has set events in motion that cannot be undone." The crew exchanged worried glances as the AI continued. "You must prepare your people and all sentient races. The coming conflict will engulf the entire galaxy. Humanity has spent millennia preparing, but we cannot face this threat alone." "How can we help?" Tak asked, feeling the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. The AI's image flickered slightly. "Seek out other human outposts. Learn. Prepare. And when the time comes, stand with humanity against the darkness." With those ominous words, the transmission cut off, leaving the Starseeker's crew in stunned silence. Tak turned to his team, seeing the mix of fear and determination on their faces. "You heard the AI. We have a mission now, perhaps the most important mission in the history of our people." He paused, looking each crew member in the eye. "We're going to find more human outposts. We're going to learn everything we can, and we're going to prepare our people and the galaxy for what's coming." As the Starseeker prepared to leave orbit, Tak couldn't help but feel that they had stumbled upon something far bigger than they could have ever imagined. The hunt for human artifacts had become a race to save the galaxy. In the distance, other alien ships were landing on the planet, eager to discover what the Zarkonians had found. But Tak and his crew were already setting course for their next destination, carrying with them the secret of humanity's hidden presence and the looming threat of the void. The true nature of the universe was unfolding before them, and they were at the heart of it all. The next chapter in the galaxy's history was about to begin, and the Starseeker's crew would play a crucial role in shaping it. The Starseeker raced through space, its crew determined to find more human outposts. For weeks, they searched, following clues and faint energy signatures. Finally, their efforts paid off. "Captain Tak," Yuna called out excitedly, "I'm detecting a massive energy source on the third planet of this system. It matches the human technology we've seen before, but it's much, much stronger." Tak felt a surge of excitement. "Take us in, but be careful. We don't know what we might find." As they approached the planet, they saw it was covered in swirling storms. Lightning flashed constantly across its surface. But amidst the chaos, they spotted something extraordinary, a massive structure floating in the planet's upper atmosphere. "It's some kind of station," Jun said in awe. "But it's huge, bigger than anything we've ever built." Tak made a quick decision. We're going to dock with it. Prepare a team. Soon, Tak led a small group onto the human station. The interior was dark, lit only by the occasional flash of emergency lights. As they moved deeper into the station, they felt a strange humming beneath their feet. The power systems are still active, Jun noted, checking his scanner. This place isn't as abandoned as it looks. They reached what appeared to be the main control room. Massive screens lined the walls, all dark and silent. In the center stood a large, circular console. Can we activate it? Tak asked. Jun nodded and set to work. Minutes passed in tense silence as he worked on the alien technology. Suddenly, the room came to life. Lights flickered on, and the screens lit up with streams of data. I think I did it, Jun exclaimed. But before they could celebrate, a booming voice filled the room. Unauthorized access detected. Initiating security protocols. The team froze as holographic barriers sprang up around them, trapping them in place. Wait, Tak called out. We're not here to cause harm. We're explorers, seeking knowledge about humanity. There was a pause, then the voice spoke again, softer this time. Species identified. Zarkonian. Threat level. Minimal. State your purpose. Tak took a deep breath. We've discovered evidence of humanity's advanced civilization. We're trying to understand what happened and prepare for their return. Another pause. Then, to their surprise, the holographic barriers disappeared. The voice, now sounding almost friendly, said, Access granted. Welcome to Nexus Station, the heart of humanity's galactic defense network. The screens around them came to life, showing star maps, ship designs, and streams of data they couldn't begin to understand. In the center of the room, a large hologram appeared, showing the human figure. I am the central eye of Nexus Station, the hologram said. You have triggered the awakening protocol. Humanity's return is now imminent. The team exchanged shocked glances. Tak stepped forward. What do you mean? The AI's expression turned grave. The void, the great enemy that forced humanity into hiding, is stirring again. For millennia, we have waited, prepared, and watched. Now, the final battle approaches. As if on cue, alarms began to blare throughout the station. The screens flickered, showing images of massive ships appearing out of nowhere across the galaxy. The human fleet is deploying, the AI explained. They will need allies in the coming war. Your people, and all sentient races, must choose their side. Tak felt overwhelmed. In a matter of minutes, everything had changed. The galaxy as they knew it was about to be transformed. What can we do? He asked, his voice steady despite his racing hearts. The AI's hologram smiled. You have already done much by awakening this station. Now you must return to your people. Warn them. Prepare them. The time of hiding is over. The age of unity begins. Suddenly, the station shuddered. Outside, they saw space itself seem to ripple and tear. A massive ship, unlike anything they had ever seen, emerged from the rift. The flagship of the human fleet, the AI announced. Your journey brought you here at the perfect moment. You will be the first to witness humanity's return. As Tak and his crew watched in awe, more ships appeared, filling the space around the station. The galaxy was awakening to a new reality, one where humans were not only real but were the most advanced species anyone had ever encountered. The AI's voice echoed one last time. Go now. Spread the word. The final battle for the galaxy is about to begin, and every race must choose its part in the story that's about to unfold. Tak nodded, his mind racing with the enormity of their discovery and the task ahead. As they rushed back to their ship, he knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The age of myths was over. The age of humanity had begun. Captain Tak and his crew raced back to the Starseeker, their minds reeling from what they had just witnessed. As they prepared to leave the massive human station, space around them filled with more and more ships. It's incredible, Yuna breathed, staring at the view screen. There are thousands of them. Jum's console beeped urgently. Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's from the human flagship. Tuck's hearts raced as he ordered. On screen. The view screen flickered, and they found themselves face to face with a human. The being looked much like the historical records they had seen, but there was an aura of power and wisdom that took their breath away. Greetings, Zarkonian explorers, the human said, its voice filled with warmth. I am Admiral Ian, commander of the Human Restoration Fleet. We owe you a debt of gratitude. Tuck bowed his head slightly. Admiral, we are honored, but I don't understand. What have we done? Admiral Dunn smiled. Your curiosity, your willingness to explore and learn, triggered the awakening protocols we set in place millennia ago. You've helped bring humanity back to the galactic stage at precisely the right moment. As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the Starseeker. Mina's hands flew over her console. Captain, we're detecting massive energy signatures throughout the sector. Hundreds, no, thousands of ships are appearing. The view screen split, showing the human fleet on one side and the new arrivals on the other. The new ships were dark, almost invisible against the backdrop of space. They seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The void. Admiral Yun said grimly. Our ancient enemy has returned, just as we predicted. Tak felt a chill run down his spine. Admiral, what can we do? Spread the word, Yun replied. Return to your people. Tell them what you've seen. The galaxy must unite if we are to survive what's coming. Suddenly, space itself seemed to tear open. A massive ship, larger than anything Tak had ever seen, emerged from the rift. It was a human vessel, but unlike any in the fleet around them. The Lightbringer, Admiral Yun announced, pride evident in his voice. Our greatest creation. With it, we will lead the charge against the void. As Tak and his crew watched in awe, the human fleet began to move. Ships of all sizes and shapes formed up around the Lightbringer, preparing for battle. Go now, Admiral Yun urged. You have played your part in awakening us. Now you must play your part in uniting the galaxy. With a final nod of respect, the transmission ended. Tak turned to his crew, seeing the mix of fear and determination on their faces. Set a course for home, he ordered. Maximum speed. We have a message to deliver. As the Starseekers sped away from the assembling fleets, Tak couldn't help but reflect on their journey. They had set out to explore, to learn about a supposedly primitive species. Instead, they had awakened the most advanced civilization the galaxy had ever known. The trip back to Zarkonian space was tense. Every member of the crew knew that the fate of their people, and indeed the entire galaxy, rested on the information they carried. As they approached their homeworld, they saw that news of the human return had already spread. The space around their planet was filled with ships from every known species. They're hailing us, Mina reported. It's the High Council. Tak took a deep breath. Put them through. The face of the head counselor appeared on screen. Captain Tak, your mission has changed the course of history. We need to know everything. For hours, Tak and his crew briefed the council on all they had discovered. The human outposts, the advanced technology, the threat of the void, and the return of humanity. As they finished their report, the head counselor's expression was grave. The other races are calling for a galactic summit. We must decide how to respond to this. Human restoration. Tak stepped forward. Counselor, if I may. We've seen the power of humanity, but also their wisdom. They've prepared for millennia to face a threat that endangers us all. We must stand with them. The council chamber erupted in debate, but as arguments flew back and forth, a new transmission cut through the chaos. On every screen, on every planet across the galaxy, the same message played. It was Admiral Ian, standing on the bridge of the Lightbringer. People of the galaxy, the human said, a darkness approaches that threatens all life. But you do not face it alone. Humanity has returned, not to conquer, but to unite. Join us, and together, we will forge a future of peace and prosperity for all. As the message ended, Tak looked out at the assembled council. He saw fear in their eyes, but also hope. The age of division was over. A new era of galactic unity was dawning. And it all began because a curious Zarkonian crew decided to explore an abandoned human starship.